Sorry. So this is, today we are going to cover this one. This is research using twins, and this is a passage, this is a passage from Cambridge Book 11 Test 4, research using twins, and this is the second, not second, sorry. Okay, this one, and then this is second page, and this is the true, false, not given. True, false, not given, and we also have a list of researchers, the name of the researchers, and this is what? This is the summary. So how do you go about doing this one? What could be the easiest way? Now, what could be the easiest way? Okay, I will personally suggest, this is the way I usually do that. I think it helps me. So I don't know about others. So what I personally do, I just always start from the back, always. It helps me, even if it doesn't help me in a big way, but at least it saves me time if I need it. So here is the last one. This is what, because I don't take much time, is the summary. What I'm going to do in epigenetic process influence the activity of a genes, for example. So what I think, if I can find out when I'll be solving this one, if I can find out that this one, sorry. If you can look for this, they'll be able to change. They will be able to change this word. Okay, you can hear me, everybody? You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just make sure that I take care of this word. If whenever I find this word, I'll make a mark. Okay. Then I'm moving to where? I'm moving to the next page. The next page is this one. Okay. Just a moment. Okay. This was the last one. I just epigenetic process. Whenever I find that, I'll have to mark it. This one is the list of researchers. How do you do that? I will have to match this researcher's name with the information given about them. There will be, sometimes we have here 3 researchers list, but there could be more as well. There's no guarantee that in the passage, we are not going to have more of the researcher's name. There's no guarantee. So what is this? This is, so how do you do that? So what I'm going to do, should we read this information from 5 to 9, or we should be reading the names only? Anybody who can help me?
Sir, just names only.
Names, because as long as we can find the names, we'll have to read. Okay, we'll find the information. So the first one is, what are the names? Just just see the names. This is the Francis. What's that?
Galton.
Francis Galton, Thomas Bouchard, and Daniel Reed. Okay, just I remember.
Sir, can you please repeat the process? How can I do this?
Which one? Which one? This one.
This one.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to start with this one. I'm not going to start with this. I'm going to very likely start with the first one. Yes or not given. But whenever in the whole passage, whenever I come across these names, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark those names. I'm not going to check out these. I'm not going to check it. And the moment I can find the names, Thomas Bouchard, Daniel Reed, then what will happen? I'll find this information just next to that, before or after that. Fine. And this is going to Butcho. Hello? Then we move on to the first one. True, false, not given. True, false, not given, say there's some information. Is there any guarantee that the passage, we will find this question at the very beginning? Kono guarantee ache?
No, sir.
Huh?
There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee. But in most of the cases, prothom question prothome thake. In most of the cases, you will find these because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. you might very likely will be finding this answer. তাহলে আমরা এখানে কি করব? We should start with that. But what we did for the second type of question, we just remember these names, and for the third one, we just remember epigenetic process. Fine, we don't have to do anything more at the moment. So here, what? True, false, not given. What we are going to do, we are going to check the names. There, just a moment. Okay, there may be genetic causes for differences in how young the skin of identical twins look. There may be genetic causes for the differences in how young the skin of, what's that? There may be genetic causes for the differences in how young the skin of identical twins looks. There may be Mr. Amader Rabbi Bhai?
Yes, sir.
What's the meaning of this? There may
Sir,
be genetic
in the last part, I mean, how young the skin of identical twin looks. This is actually something obscure. I mean, it's equivocal.
Okay, what they're saying, there may be genetic causes.
Yeah, but
for the
difference
in how
I don't know what's the meaning
how
of
young,
the young the skin. I mean,
how young the skin of identical twins look. How young the skin.
আমার মনে হয় এখানে ডিফারেন্সটা মানে কিভাবে দুইটা টুইনস এর ডিফারেন্স বোঝা যায়।
So how the what about the young of the
genetic causes কারণে হয়ে থাকে এরকম কিছু বলছে।
There may be genetic causes for the difference. For the difference in how young the skin of identical. So between them or with others. Okay, anyhow, let's read it. আমাদের তাহলে এখানে which word we are going to look for? এখানে হলো genetic
causes
for
difference,
the difference in how
young of the genetic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's better always to look for two of these. মানে আমাদের better কোনটা?
Yeah, of course. 1 and 2.
1 and 2. তাহলে হবে for some reason if 1 is not given, if it is not given, then we'll be able to cover what? And if it is not given, we'll be able to cover. We'll be able to cover the second one. Twins are at greater risk of developing certain illness. Non-twins. Non-twins are twins. You know, there is a greater risk of developing certain illnesses. Certain illnesses than non-twins. Okay, so we know that. So we are talking about they might be talking about illnesses.
Sir. Sorry, I understand the first one. It says that though they are identical twins, but somehow one of them, I mean the identical brother's twin or sister twin, somehow one of them may look younger than other. So it may caused by some genetic predisposition or like that.
Okay, fine. So and the second one we are talking about illnesses. Twins are at greater risk than non-twins. So the twins, if they're twins, they have a greater.
Sir, can you repeat the meaning of first one, please?
First, there may be genetic causes for the difference in how young the skin of identical twins look. No, probably he's saying that if they're two identical twins, they should look the same. But sometimes you might find that one of them, looks much more
older or younger.
And younger.
আমি এটাই ফার্স্ট বলেছিলাম আমার সাথে টুইন ছিল তো এরকম কিছু একটা।
Okay, let's check it out. So we are going to check it out. Whether that one is true or false or not given. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so here is the question. আমরা এখন কি করব? আমরা এখন এটা বড় করব। হ্যাঁ, বড় করে আমরা তাহলে কি করছি? Which words? আচ্ছা, মোটামুটি পড়লেও হবে. We don't even have to find the words because we know what we are reading now. Acha. Let's read from here. Research using twins. The biomedical. I mean, let's read it, and whenever we find it, we'll stop there. The biomedical researchers all over the world, two biomedical twins offer a precious opportunity to untangle, to open up to find out the influence of genes and the environment, of nature and nurture. Nature is genes and nurture is environment. Because identical twins come from a single fertilized egg that splits into two, they share virtually the same genetic code. Any difference between them? One twin having younger looking. So here, probably we are getting the answers. We are getting the answers here. We are getting the answers here. What they're saying, any difference between them. One twin having younger looking skin, for example, must be due to the environmental factors such as less time spent in the sun. মানে আচ্ছা এখানে বলতে চাচ্ছি it should be same. There is no reason but একটাই হতে পারে এটা কিসের জন্য? Environmental factor. There is not genetic
factor. Yeah.
তাহলে what about that? You know, so এটা কি হবে?
Less from the same organ.
What? এটা কি হবে? This one?
False.
There may be genetic causes. Is there any genetic causes? No, there are no genetic causes. এটা এখানে environmental causes. তাহলে এটা কি হবে?
False.
False. ঠিক আছে? So we found that it's false. আচ্ছা, now what we are looking for? So we found the answers, and let's see. Sorry. We basically okay, we kind of find it here. Okay, sorry. Okay, what about the next one? So what we are looking for? You remember the next one?
Identical twin have some diseases which is particularly
more common too.
Yeah, common those to are the identical twins.
Those are more common. If you are identical twins, say you are a twin, then you are likely that you are going to have diseases, more diseases. You are then twins, greater risk of developing certain, not all diseases, certain. So is it true or not? So we are going to read.
While we are looking for number 2, should we just check? Just
oh no. Yes, three. Yes. This is better because we don't have any idea about whether
somehow the 2 is
what if not given. Okay, the same thing. Okay, so here এখানে হচ্ছে twins such are greater risk of developing certain illnesses than non-twins. The third one, vouchered advertised in newspaper for twins who had been separated at birth. We are talking about voucher advertised as for twins who had been separated at birth. Okay, so as long as we find voucher, this is fine, we can read it. Alternately, by comparing the experiences of identical twins with those of fraternal twins. What is identical twins and fraternal twins? Any idea, fraternal twins?
Fraternal twins means they are not having, they are not sharing the same ovum, but they are sharing the same womb. But there's 2 of them actually. There's
okay, fine. It doesn't come from the same. What's that?
I mean same mother, same womb, but there's 2 ovum.
Not from the same egg, probably. No. Okay, not from the same egg. Not from this egg. As a fraternal twins. Okay, they are coming from father's side, probably, no? Somehow.
Yeah, sir. It's written here. Who come from separate eggs.
Who come separate eggs and
half of their DNA.
And on average, half their DNA. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So we are talking about identical twins. They share full DNA. Researchers can quantify, by comparing the experience of their with, researchers can quantify the extent to which our genes affect our lives. Because they will compare with fraternal and if identical twins are more similar to each other with respect to an ailment, we have the
ailment means disease,
disease. Then fraternal twins are okay. So if we are more similar to each other with respect to ailment, then the vulnerability to the disease must be rooted at least partly in heredity. So আরেকবার পড়ি এখানে. Alternately, by comparing experience of identical twins with those of fraternal twins, those who come from separate eggs and share on average half their, researchers can quantify the extent to which our genes affect us. If identical twins are more similar to each other with respect to ailment than fraternal twins are, then vulnerability to the disease must be rooted at least in part in heredity. What they're saying. And our answer, we are looking for, they are more prone. Are they talking about that?
No, sir, not clearly.
Are they saying that if you are identical twins, you have a more chance of getting certain diseases? Let me read for the final time. Let's read for the for the final time. Wait. Okay. Anyways, what they're trying to say, anybody? So is it true, false, or not given? That alternative by comparing experience of identical twins with those of fraternal twins who came, researchers can quantify the extent to which our genes are, but they can quantify. This is the answer. If identical twins are more similar to each other, if identical twins are more similar to each other with respect to an ailment, then fraternal twins are more similar to each other with respect to ailment, then vulnerability to disease must be rooted at least in part. Oh, in part bolche. It's not completely. In part in heredity. Yeah. So they're saying that in part. This is the key. Na, ita na? Yeah, boy?
Yes, sir.
At the in part.
Yeah. In part in the heredity, but it's obscure. I mean, it's maybe not given, sir. Most probably.
If identical are more similar. If. এখানে কি the if এর জন্য, is this word very important? If. They're not sure. If. আমার মনে হয় এই জন্য হতে পারে. See?
Of course.
If identical twins are more similar, our vulnerability must be rooted in part. I think they're not sure.
Yeah.
I think they're not sure.
It's not clearly given here or stated here that due to the identical twins or fraternal twins, they have the more
similar to each other,
similar diseases, or they are more prone to some diseases.
So listen, they are not comparing fraternal twins with identical twins. They are comparing if the identical twins, if the fraternal twins are more similar to each other. They are not comparing identical twins with fraternal twins. Rather, they're comparing with identical twins themselves and fraternal twins themselves. ঠিক আছে? আমাদের কিন্তু এইটা বলছেন, আমাদের এখানে they're giving a different set of answers. বুঝছেন? এইটাই বোধহয়. You got it? Others? If you're there, আপনারা আছেন? আপনারা কেউ দেখছেন এটা? Anybody else?
Yes, sir.
হ্যাঁ?
Yes, sir.
আচ্ছা। তাহলে এখানেও দাঁড়াচ্ছে যে ইটস এ ডিফারেন্ট স্টোরি। এখানে বলছে যদি আইডেন্টিক্যাল টুইনদের মধ্যে ওদের মধ্যে যদি ওদের মধ্যে কম্পারিজন, নিজেদের মধ্যে কম্পারিজন যদি খুব বেশি থাকে এবং যদি ফ্র্যাকশনাল টুইনসে থাকে, তাহলে দেয়ার ভালনারেবিলিটি মাস্ট বি রুটেড অ্যাট লিস্ট ইন পার্ট, নট 100%। তাহলে কিছুটা হেরিডিটির এখানে একটা প্রভাব ফেলে। বাট এখানে ক্লিয়ারলি জিজ্ঞেস করছে what they are asking, clearly they are asking what? They are asking that twins are at greater risk of developing than non-twins. Twins না, এই যে non-twins মানে ওইটা কিছুটা। আচ্ছা, আরেকটা কথা, ওখানে তো ওরাও তো টুইন, কিন্তু এখানে তো বলে একেবারে নন টুইন। এটা তো একেবারে নন টুইন মানে নন টুইন। সো ইটস নট গিভেন, ক্লিয়ারলি নট গিভেন। আচ্ছা, তাহলে কি হবে? এটা নট গিভেন। ওকে, হোয়াট অ্যাবাউট দ্য নেক্সট ওয়ান? হ্যাঁ, ওইটা একেবারেই নট গিভেন। হ্যাঁ, সো হোয়াট অ্যাবাউট দ্য নেক্সট ওয়ান? নেক্সট ওয়ান ইজ